Everyday heroes, extraordinary vision, stories and inspiration from our world to yours. This is Unlocking Secrets for Women Radio.
Hey, Terry Fator, all the way from Las Vegas.
Yes, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
I think you're somewhere in the north of Canada, though. Those northern lights.
That's my virtual background. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is gorgeous. Do you have an affinity to the northern lights?
I do. I've never actually seen them live. It's funny. I did the first time I played in Canada. I performed at this little show. It was right after America's Got Talent. Very exciting. And I went to bed after the show. I was exhausted. I was working harder than I've ever worked right after I won America's Got Talent in 2007. And so I go to bed, and the next morning I got up, and all the people that were with me said, "Oh my gosh, did you see the Northern Lights last night?" And I said, "I missed them. Are you kidding me? I've been wanting to see them my whole life." So one of these days, me and Angie, my wife, are going to go somewhere where we can see the Northern Lights. But I do love them.
Let me tell you, right here in beautiful Vancouver, we have a place called Harrison Hot Springs. It's a gorgeous lake, beautiful resort, and around August, you can see the Northern Lights.
Really?
Yeah, that's where I saw them for the first time.
Okay, well, that's a vacation idea for us.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So Terry, we had the privilege of meeting you and interviewing you back in 2008 at the Montage Hotel in Beverly Hills, well, for our show Unscripted, where you graciously drove literally all night from Vegas with your puppets in the trunk, and you just shared with us your excitement, your puppets, and that's been, a few years now. And I know that you've had an extremely successful show in Las Vegas, and you have not only been an incredible entertainer and coming up with all these creative ideas for music and songs and puppets and Elton John and Elvis Presley and all the wonderful things you've been doing, you also have a huge heart. You and your wife, Angie, a massive heart for giving and for charity and for caring for others. And I know that you do. And if people go to terryfator.com, they will see stuff that you don't brag about, but it's your care for the veterans of your country. And can you tell me a little bit about how that came to be, Terry? I probably think it was part of your life, but tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, just giving back and caring and caring for the community, and we've expanded. The Terry Fator Foundation has gone. I used to just be exclusively veterans and people who have served, and that just came out of a lot of my friends and family. I had family that served in the military, and then I had friends. I had a good friend when I was 8 whose dad was a POW in Vietnam for 7 years. And had a really rough time there, and so just wanting to give back in that way, and we expanded it to I became good friends with a family whose little boy died of cancer a few years ago, and so it really just got us involved in so much more, and just giving back and helping in any way. I just feel I'm a very strong believing Christian. I always have been since I was young, and I think I've rekindled my faith even more since my success. Mostly it was my wife. My wife Angie. We've been together 5 years, and
oh, that's so good.
I was kind of floating in the ether, trying to figure out what I wanted to believe. And she's Catholic, and I got with her, she's like, "Well, I'm a Catholic, and I'm not going to have any of that other nonsense in the house." And I said, "Okay then," and it really kind of got me back to my roots, to my roots of just Christianity. And so I began to delve more into studying the history of Christianity and the history, and realizing why I wanted to believe and why I believed in Christ. And so coming from that background, though, Christianity teaches that we need to give back and give to and love our fellow man, and make sure that we give back to the community. So it's always kind of been something in my heart. So I love doing it, and it's I don't do it for the accolades. I don't do it for the. It's really funny because I'll give to something, and then people, social media is so mean sometimes, and they'll be like,
Oh, yeah.
"Well, I didn't see Terry Fator give anything," and I'm like, "Well, because I didn't announce it." But I don't say anything. I just let them, think what they want. because a lot of times I will, if I need to make an announcement because it helps. It helps give press to the place I'm giving to. I'm fine with that, but a lot of times we give and no one even knows we're giving. So,
And that's
I think
the way
that's,
it is.
yeah, that's the way it should be, I think.
Yeah, you just, because it's part of that mercy and compassion that we have, that we share and we give, and we don't announce that giving. It's just a need. Somebody needs something, you just do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I love that about you. I know you've got that generous heart.
Yeah.
Just an amazing heart, you and Angie both.
Thanks.
So now you are living in Las Vegas, and you've been living there the whole time. You've been the winner of America's Got Talent. Is that correct?
I moved from Mesquite, Texas. I had a house in Mesquite, Texas. And once I won America's Got Talent, I bought a house near the airport in Trophy Club, which is in the Dallas Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So is Mesquite. And so I really lived in that area my whole life up until after America's Got Talent. And then when I signed a long-term deal in Las Vegas, I moved immediately in 2009, I believe it was, to Las Vegas, and have been a resident here ever since. Hopefully for a long time. It's interesting because my contract at the Mirage ends at the end of June. We thought I was going to be performing all the way through, but it looks like they're not even going to be opening. And so I'm moving to another casino. We're negotiating with. We've got about 4 or 5 that are interested, and so I can't make any announcements yet, but I know we're looking for my next home, and I'll definitely still be in Vegas. That's not a problem. So, but I'm a little disappointed because we were going to do a big send off at the Mirage and move to whatever the new casino was going to be, and then everything shut down. So I did my last show at the Mirage and didn't even really realize it was going to be my last show.
Oh my goodness. Like, that is just, you are just so similar to so many people who've had these dynamic changes that were completely unexpected. Mm-hmm. And imagine that your contract's up in June and all these changes are taking place. It's like there's this giant opportunity for you to just zen, think about. Yeah, and tell me about that.
I've taken the time to work on my craft and work on my art and work on, I've been putting out videos. You can go to terryfator.com. You can go to my YouTube page, the Terry Fator YouTube page. I'm posting on that. Facebook.com/Terry Fator. Twitter. I don't know anything about it. I have a company that does all that. So I don't know if it's at Terry Fator or hashtag Terry Fator. I don't know how that works.
We'll have everything there.
Okay, good. Yeah. So if they go, I always post these things, but I'm really, and the funny thing is I have a team that people that work for me that do all this stuff, and suddenly we're all quarantining. So I'm having to learn how to do all this on my own. And it's very difficult. If I got 2 puppets on each hand, I'm going to have to start, I have to start the music and I have to start the recording. So it's very awkward, but I'm learning to do it. So each one I put out is a little bit better than the last. And I'm learning how to edit with the iMovie on my Mac. And I never did any of that. I always just send it off and have somebody else do it. And I'm like, yeah, that looks good. So it's kind of fun to be able to expand though, and I think a lot of us are doing that. And I'm playing video games too.
Video games? Did you say
Yes.
video games?
I actually got Angie hooked on Animal Crossing for the Switch, for the Nintendo Switch. And so both of us work really hard during the day. She's kind of taking care of my business and getting everything. We had an entire office full of employees, and they all quit before the whole COVID thing happened. And we had a huge tumultuous upheaval in the office, and everything kind of fell on Angie, and she's getting everything, and she's just going to run everything. She's going to be a full-time worker for my company, making sure that everything stays in order. So she does that during the day. I create material, and I work on things, and I work on voices, and I write new routines. And then in the evenings around 6, when she's done with all her phone calls, she'll come in. I'm actually in my little studio here. And and she'll come in and she'll say, I'm done. And I'm saying, okay, I'll shut it all down and we go and play Animal Crossing until about midnight.
And watch Hallmark movies.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm one of those men that I love Hallmark movies. We never miss a Hallmark movie. And I mean, we never miss them. Every Christmas, I think they had 41 last year. We watched all 41.
Oh
and we're so excited. And we like the mysteries too. I mean, the Hallmark movies and mysteries. And so I think there's a new mystery coming up in the next week or two. And we just watched last week's new Hallmark movie. Oh, we just love it. We love it. I guess I'm I'm kind of strange that way. I don't think there are a lot of guys who do that, but we'll snuggle. Me and Angie will sit and snuggle on the bed and watch Hallmark.
Well, I want you to know that I happen to be married to one who loves to do that too. So, oh
All
yeah.
right, so I'm not alone. That's
You
great.
are not alone, Terry. I'll come and look at the TV and look at the recordings and go, why do we have like 400 Hallmark movies recorded here? And he's like, oh, this is what we're going to do for Christmas vacation. So you are not alone. We love.
Oh, and I cry every time at the end when they kiss, and I know it's coming, and I know it's going to happen. I know every story before it's done, but every single time I'm just like, oh, you got something in my eye.
Hallmark needs to give you some kind of credit for your dedication and commitment to their shows. They are.
I think we're actually talking. I think we're talking with Hallmark about maybe being able to do a series of specials.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where I would get my puppets and you know, because they have different seasons. Every season they have different movies, and I think it would be really cool if every season, you know, for winter, spring, fall, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all that, you know, I could do shows. That would be a lot of fun to kind of mix it up with Hallmark.
That would actually be amazing, because I bet you anything your puppets are having some kind of secret romance when you guys are not around.
Of course they are.
Because they're real.
Yeah, I went to an event last year, and Rachel Boston, who is one of the actresses that's one of our favorites. You know, my wife and I were like, we have our little favorites. You know, we love Danica McKellar and we love Lacey Chabert and Rachel Boston. She was at an event, and it was that I went to. It was like a charity event, and I'm telling you, I was so starstruck. I was just like, oh my gosh. And you know, I love Hallmark. I really, really do. I love the movies.
Well,
They're
you know,
so
a lot
predictable,
of
but
films here.
they make you feel good, you know, especially in all this time. I don't watch the news anymore. I just refuse. I'm like, look, it's so depressing. I don't want to be depressed anymore. So I keep up with, you know, with headlines and stuff, but I just won't do it. I'd rather be watching a Hallmark movie and that has a good ending, and then put my trust in God, you know, and read my Bible, and it just keeps me from. I'm not depressed at all. I'm actually happy and having a good and enjoying the quarantine. So I think people get so panicked and scared. And when we put our trust in God, we don't have to be scared, you know?
Oh, exactly. Like nothing like the worst trick of the human race is being told, here, know everything and have no power to do anything with that. That is the biggest lie that we've ever swallowed, and it's disheartening. And I love what you said about not watching the news except when it's necessary, enough to know what you need to do, and then to fill your mind with things that are uplifting and building you up, encouragement.
Positive, uplifting. That's why I do Winston's Words of Wisdom, to give somebody a little positive message of the day, you know, just to keep people's spirits up. Because really our spirits are we need to keep our spirits up, because when we lose that hope, we can exist with just about everything but hope. So we can go a long time without food, we can go a long time without water, not as long without water, but we can't go a second without hope. And so hope is the thing, and I put my hope and trust in God. And it drives me crazy when these people say, oh, prayer doesn't do anything. It's like, oh, you have no idea. Prayer is the most important and the most powerful thing on earth. And when all the people get together and pray for something, real changes can be made. And
oh, absolutely. I'm
a very strong believer in that.
Yeah, and you know, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And
yes,
we do need hope. And prayer, you know, we encourage people to go to have conversations, to share their heart with people they don't know, psychiatrists and counselors. So there is already a known medicinal, well-known practice for sharing and getting stuff out of us that we need to talk about. And to have access to God 24/7, to share your heart all the time, lifts that heavy weight.
Well, also it takes the powerlessness out.
Yes.
You feel so utterly powerless, but when you talk to God and pray, it gives you a feeling that you're not utterly powerless. Now we have to put it in his hands and let him do what he wants with it. But when we pray, at least we know we're making an effort and we're doing something. If you don't have that, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You really are truly powerless without that. So prayer actually does give you a feeling of empowerment to say, I can make a difference here. And when God's people, and I'm not referring to just one religion, I'm referring to all religions, when all the people who follow God and his edicts come together and pray, that's an incredibly powerful thing, and it's world changing. And so,
Absolutely. Being united in love, being united in a compassion, being united in the purposes of of loving our fellow man the way we should.
yeah.
That's what I'm all about too, Terry. I love that. I want that. I promote that. I believe in that. And I think exactly what you're saying, it really brings a real health to our soul and our bodies,
Yeah.
and hope, like you were saying, which I
Mhm.
very much agree. Now you're in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is having some challenges about the ideas of opening. And so what is it like living in a city that's generally populated 24 hours a day? Is it super quiet there? What is it like for you? And are you guys going out at all for anything?
It's very bizarre, and yeah, I'm not one of those that I mean, I'm taking precautions just like anybody,
Right.
but I'm not one of those I'm never gonna crawl into a hole, and I'm just not. It's just not my
I don't think it's
personality. It's not who
healthy.
I am. And I just went out this morning and I just did a little shopping, and the grocery stores, they're not packed, but they're not they're not empty either, and so driving around, there's not as many cars. Now the strip is dead. I mean, the strip is completely, I've never seen anything like it. In fact, I found something very interesting out, that I never even thought of, that they're having to padlock the outside of the casinos because with chains, because none of the casinos have locks on them, because they were never designed to close.
Oh,
So is that not interesting? They have no
yes.
locks on the door, so they actually had to padlock with chains and padlocks. And I said, "Wow, that's really interesting." So it's really unprecedented for that. And I think I think we need to. My personal beliefs is we just need to take personal responsibility. It's like, I've got a relative who was concerned that they were reopening Georgia because her mother is in the at risk. And I said, look, you can't keep Georgia closed because you're afraid for your mother. Your mother needs to take responsibility for herself and quarantine herself if she's at risk, and not punish everybody else for that. If it's time to reopen, it's time to reopen. If you're at risk, you need to stay home and take those precautions. And if you are out there and you have to come in contact with someone who is at risk, you need to wear your mask and your gloves and use a lot of hand sanitizer so that you keep them safe. But I just think it's time to reopen. I think we need to reopen the world and let things go. And it's just, but maybe that's me talking because I'm a positive person, and I always look on the bright side and I look at the upside. I never look at the downside.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for a long time. If they put every time somebody died of the flu every year, if they put that on the front page of the paper, people would have been doing this for as long as we've had the flu, because every year tens of thousands of people die of the flu, and it's just a regular old flu.
Right.
So it's like what's happening is they're taking every single time someone catches this COVID, they're putting it on the front page of the paper. And it's like, of course, okay, let me tell you this. If every single time somebody died in a car crash, it was front page news, people would stop driving. They'd be terrified because a lot of people die in car crashes. So it's like, and I'm not trying to trivialize it. I'm just saying a lot of this is just they're causing us to be panicked and fearful, which is why I'm not going to immerse myself in all that stuff. I'm going to do the best I can. And I feel like it's time to reopen, and it's time. I just do, that's my personal opinions, but I'll do whatever, if the government tells me, if my governor tells me I need to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. I'm not a rebel. I'm just saying, giving my opinion, what I think.
Yeah. And you know what? That's the beauty of freedom, is that we are so unique. Everybody has so many ideas. I just hope and trust that we do respect the ideas of one another and see where people are coming from. In a family of healthcare workers, so I have a mass amount of healthcare workers. In fact, my son lives in our house right now with us, and we have to do 6 feet in the house because he works with 800 staff underneath him as a healthcare manager right here.
Absolutely.
So even within our own home, we're practicing, safe practices and social distancing. But at the same time, nothing ever is resolved through fear. And
Oh no, you're right.
and we are very fortunate in our particular province, Terry, and maybe I'll send you the link later. We have some amazing leaders. And politically, I personally wasn't involved in, I don't get involved in the politics at all. I stay out of it as much as I can. But I have to say that I love any leader that shows up with the attributes of servant leadership, caring for people and encouraging compassion and kindness. And we have a wonderful female leader, our head of our medical here in British Columbia, Dr. Henry. She's become very, very popular because she's gentle, and all she's been saying to us is be kind, stay 6 feet away, but wave at your neighbor, be compassionate to one another, help each other. That's the way she has been leading us as a province. And I just feel very grateful for her leadership. I think she set the right tone. And I think that's what I hear you saying, you're not a rebel.
Yeah, and for me, I'm ready to end handshaking entirely. I've been trying to kind of end that forever, and a lot of it is not just catching germs. Although that is a problem when I would do meet and greets and stuff in Las Vegas. I was getting sick all the time. Yeah. And my doctors were telling me, look, Terry, you got to quit doing your meet and greets because you're getting people from all over the world that are bringing different flu viruses from South Africa and from Australia and from Japan and from, England. And they said, so you're really kind of catching everything. So I stopped doing the public meet and greets, and it really helped. But there's another issue. These hands, I work with puppets, so I have to do this. I will shake somebody's hand, and apparently their dad told them that they have to have a firm handshake, and they will crush my hand with this firm handshake. And I mean, my hand will hurt for 30 minutes after this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got a show to do, and you just crushed my hand, So I'm kind of ready to do, I love the elbow thing. I think that's the best. Yeah. So people are like, well, that's not very personal. It's like, well, you know what? Some of us like it. And it's not that I'm not, because I'm a hugger. I love contact, and I'm not, but it's really just, some people just don't know how firm their handshake is. And it happens, it doesn't happen every single time, but I'd say every 2 to 3 shows, somebody crushes my hand with a firm handshake. So I'm ready to just do away with handshakes entirely. And now we have an excuse. So I'm like, elbow.
Yeah. And you're totally legit. And nobody will think you're being a snob.
Exactly.
I'm with you. I know, for years, you got to be careful in our social groups not to spread germs. I have another job that I get to do where I work with elementary kids. I work with 450 of them. And trust me, they're little germ bombs. And I have to be super careful. You need to insure your hands there, brother, like a surgeon.
They're insured. Believe me, my hands are insured. But how did you injure it? Oh, a handshake. Somebody shook my hand. What are they going to say about that? No, but it's true. But even at backstage at my show in Vegas, if anyone has a cough or is sick or anything, they wear a mask and they stay 6 feet away from me. And I've been doing this for years.
Long before COVID.
Oh yeah, long before COVID. And it's just one of those things. And that's what I'm trying to say about personal responsibility. We need to give people the message and say, look, if you're sick, you really need to wear a mask.
Right.
And here's the thing. That's why places like Japan did not have as much of an outbreak, because if they're not feeling well, they wear a mask. Mm. That's something we're having to learn to do. And I'm going to do the same thing. If I'm coughing, or if I get on a plane and I have a cough, I'm wearing a freaking mask. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to put other people, in the future. I'm not going to put anybody else at risk for whatever it is I have, whether it's a cold or anything else. And all I have to do is wear a mask. That's fine. I'll do it.
And that's what you're saying. Love your fellow man, no matter what that looks like.
Exactly.
Be kind to one another and think about how your life could impact another person, and just be thoughtful for one another. Now, I am really curious about what is happening with those puppets and how they're surviving. I'm wondering how they're coping with the quarantine.
Let's ask Winston.
Winston, my favorite guy.
Oh, you know what? Your eyes. Let me turn this thing off.
Yeah, because it's green.
His little eyes were going crazy, weren't they? We're going to turn that off.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
That was weird. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, your eyes disappeared.
Hi, Candace.
Hi, Winston. I have to just tell you, I love you so much. And you know what? I think that you've been reading Proverbs a lot, because I hear the wisdom that comes out of you. I recognize it because I read a proverb a day. Is it true?
Yeah.
Are you, Winston?
Do. Yeah. Actually, I let Terry do all the research.
Right. I do the research. And
he prints it out for me, and I get to read it.
Right.
Oh, and you've got such big eyes, so that must be really easy for you to read.
Very much so, yeah.
How are
And
you,
you know, turtles have a lot of wisdom.
what's your wisdom for today? Do you have something you want to share with us today, Winston?
No matter how hard the struggle is, don't ever give up.
That's a
Oh,
good one.
Yeah, I got that from the tortoise and the hare.
Right. That's good. Yeah. See, tortoise in the hair.
of course.
I told you turtles have a lot of common sense and wisdom.
That's true.
Yeah, they do. I'm seeing this right now. And Winston, I just need to find out how you're coping with the quarantine, or because you have this great shell, are you more protected than the rest of us?
Yeah, definitely. But you know, I live my life in a suitcase, so it's not really affecting me.
That's
Oh,
true.
Winston, and how's the air in that suitcase?
It's fine, but you know, the trouble is that I can't stay 6 feet away from Terry when I want to talk.
Oh,
So
that is
no social distancing for us. Oh, did you wash your hands?
I did.
Yeah, okay. Next time,
Because-
clip your fingernails. Okay.
Now, but the big thing is, Winston, if Terry spits when he talks, that's the big piece. As long as he's not spitting on your face.
Well, the good thing is that he keeps his mouth closed when I talk, so he doesn't spit much.
That's perfect.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very true. And so, so I guess you're saying that you're doing okay in the quarantine, Winston?
Oh, yeah, no trouble at all.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Terry?
I'm doing great. I'm just creating content and continually putting songs out and doing things.
Yeah, we're gonna release a new song next week.
I just released one this week. It was A Change Is Gonna Come.
A
Yeah.
change is gonna come. We're gonna have that link up. A change is gonna come. Did you write that, Winston?
No, Sam Cooke.
It's Sam Cooke. It's an old song.
Oh, I thought, oh, so it's very exciting. And Winston, what do you see for your future?
I see more shows with Terry. I don't see myself going solo. I tried that once and it did not work out at all.
I
It
bet
was
it
weird. I
did.
just sat there. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I told you, he's a smart turtle.
I really am.
Yeah, he's a very smart turtle. I like your bow tie there, Winston.
Oh, thank you.
Do you ever change that, or are you just
I
a
do.
pink?
It changes colors depending on what we're doing. So I've worn a black one, and I wore a camo one when I was doing something for the military.
Yeah, he had a little camo bow tie. So this thing, it actually we're able to replace it.
Yeah.
Oh, now, Winston, do you wear glasses ever? Because you're getting, you're a few years old.
I don't, but I did wear sunglasses when I did crying over you. I did wear sunglasses for that one.
Oh, you have a beautiful voice,
Why,
Winston.
thank you.
Hey, Winston, there's a lot of little kids that sometimes don't quite know how to handle what's going on right now with all this changes to their lives. I mean, some of them are super happy because mommy and daddy are home with them all the time now. And some of them are getting mommy and daddy to teach them. But do you have something that you would like to share with children, Winston, in case a mom and dad are sitting with their kiddies and having a listen?
Yes, the best way you can possibly use your time is to read books.
Read books.
There's a lot of really good books out there, and they can take up a lot of your time, and they can take you to magical, amazing places. So find really good books and read.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
Because remember back when we were kids.
Yeah, well, like me too.
Yeah. Winston's older than all of us.
Yeah, but I'm still a teenager in turtle years.
Right. So when I was a teenager, we didn't have Facebook and Twitter and everything. And so I would go and spend entire summers with my grandmother in the country. And I would stock up on all these books like Treasure Island and Robinson Crusoe and all the classics and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and read. So it was an amazing way. And you can go through 8 hours so quickly when you're reading a book. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and they are. We did that. We would go lay on our beds on the Sunday afternoon and grab a book and read. And
That's right.
Takes you to worlds.
If kids would do that again, it would really take the edge off.
Yeah, all the changes. Because think about, you can go anywhere in a book.
My wife Angie just read the entire Harry Potter series, and she was blown away. I've been telling her for years, you got to read Harry Potter, and she loved it.
She did.
And then we watched all the movies.
Oh, you did?
We did.
My husband's a huge Harry Potter fan.
Mm,
Yeah.
love them. I've read the entire series probably 8 times.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's amazing. My big thing is I was growing up, Winston. I don't know if you remember Beverly Clearly books.
Of course.
Yes, she was my favorite author growing up, and she had this little girl that was always getting herself into trouble, kind of like the way I was. What's your favorite book, Winston? Do you have one yourself?
I think my favorite book is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Yeah.
Oh, I love the Narnia Chronicles.
Yeah, because there's talking animals in that.
Right.
Of course.
There are talking animals.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think I belong in Narnia. I
I
don't
would.
think they're singing animals, though. Maybe we should write our own series with singing animals.
I think so.
I
It's a good
think that
idea.
would be. I think that would be amazing. Winston,
Yeah.
you are like quite the guy. Is there anything you want to close with right now, Winston? And I don't know if you've got any other friends there, but did
I
you
do,
want to
yeah.
share
There you go.
something?
Yeah.
he
I
can-
just want everyone to know, keep the faith, don't worry, because this will all be over soon, and use this time wisely to better yourself.
That's a good idea. That's a very good advice.
Can I give you a kiss, Winston?
I love you, Candace.
I love
Bye.
you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh my goodness, he's so great, and he just keeps himself so good looking. I mean, obviously, he's probably got a stylist and
Does,
hairstylist. Yeah. How are the other guys doing in there?
Very
in there?
good.
How's
So
everybody
here we
there?
go. Let me. Oh, how's it going, Candace? Good to see you.
Oh,
This
my.
is Julius. Yeah, I'm Julius.
Oh, hello,
So-
Julius.
So she didn't know which song we were talking about. You want to sing a little bit? Yeah, this is it.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
So that's Julius. So we just did. It's a beautiful song.
I do know
I actually
that.
had a friend. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I had a friend who texted me and he said, Terry, I would love to hear Julius sing Sam Cooke's Change is Gonna Come. So you can find that on my Facebook and on my YouTube. So
We'll make sure we put a link up there. Julius,
and
have
people accuse me of lip syncing. It is done live. So when you see it, I recorded it live and then I was able to put a little bit of reverb on him. Yeah, I did.
that is awesome. So, Julius, what does it feel like to be partnered with such a talented man? Do you ever feel intimidated by his talent, or are you able to hold your own?
No, you got it all wrong. He ain't the talent. I am. Right. The puppets are talented. Yeah, Terry doesn't do nothing but just sit there with his mouth shut.
Wow, yeah, that's true. I mean, all respect to you there, brother. It's very true. Yeah, and I will never ask that question again from anybody.
It's
So,
intimidating for me. It's intimidating for me to be around these incredibly talented puppets. That's the thing. It's very difficult. I just, I have to take a back seat and just let them shine. Exactly.
yeah, I would not want to get into a tussle with you, Julius. You look like you could certainly hold your own.
Well, I can in the singing contest.
Julius, how are you handling the quarantine?
Oh, no trouble at all. Long as there's alcohol. As long as, okay.
And you're talking about the stuff that you wash your hands with, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's funny because I was doing I did this video where when the celebrities did the whole Imagine by John Lennon, I decided to do a parody of that song about running out of toilet paper and all the things that are going. Imagine, I think it's Imagine there's no Charmin. It's, stuff like that. And no squeezable 2-ply, And so I did this whole thing and I just used all the puppets to do this. And I took one day and I did the video and then I released it. And I just kind of threw them back and they're all just laying around in there and it looks hilarious. It looks like there was a party. So I think I want to get some alcohol bottles and just sit it around and take some pictures and say, oh my gosh, the puppets were on a bender last night.
That would be hilarious. And so what kind of alcohol do you prefer, Julius, when you are washing your hands with it?
Let's see here. I like bourbon and vodka. Wait, no, that's not. That's not. She's talking about alcohol. Look, that's not alcohol. No, it is, but it's a different kind. We're talking about isopropyl alcohol. Oh, that tastes terrible. Well, you're not supposed to drink it. Don't drink isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah, please, people, do not drink.
No, please don't. Please don't.
Don't do that.
That was a joke. I'm a ventriloquist. We're joking, right?
And so, may I ask how old you are, Julius, or do you share that information?
Let's just say I'm classic.
You certainly are. I like your voice. It's very attractive.
Oh,
Are you married?
No, I'm not married. I'm totally available to any female puppets out there.
Yes.
Give me a call.
Oh, well, Terry, you need to set up a dating site for this guy.
Available female puppets.
And right now it's perfect because, you know, the online dating is appropriate for isolation.
That's right.
Yeah.
We got the long distance relationship where I can sing for you. Exactly.
Oh, you are a handsome guy.
Well, thank you. So I got another character here. Oh, bye, Julius. Goodbye.
Bye, Julius. Isn't he charming?
This is.
Oh, I love him.
Thank you. I'm Walter T. Airedale, country music legend extraordinaire.
I love him.
All right. He's the classic.
Yeah.
I love your blue eyes.
I'm with you. Now, before you ask, I'm doing just fine with the quarantine. I just stay drunk all the time.
Yeah, well. And these
Are
are
you
jokes,
drinking?
everybody. He doesn't really.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, well, whatever. They're puppets, so they don't really drink.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, whatever.
What else you do, Walter?
He has no idea what I do when he puts me in that case. I'm out womanizing and drinking.
In the case.
I drink water and Dr. Pepper.
Water and Dr. Pepper. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I call it a water pepper.
This is stupid. I don't even know what he's talking about.
I sure love your blue eyes, Walter.
Thank you very much.
And how long have you been hanging with Terry?
Oh man, we've been together a long time.
We have actually, Walter.
Don't touch me. Sorry. Yeah. Don't forget 6 foot rule.
Okay, sorry.
Don't want your cooties on me.
Okay. Anyway, Walter and I have been together for a very long time. He's my first professional puppet. In fact, I got him when I was 18 years old. And
as a birthday gift. Somebody help me, I've been trapped.
So I had this little kind of a semi-professional puppet that I was using up until I was 18, and on my 18th birthday, the Walter here was given to him. His character was not.
Yeah, I went through a lot of iterations. At one time, I had a mohawk, and he called me Spud.
Spud, yeah. And then
I was also a heavy metal. Get my hat. Sorry about that. I also was a heavy metal singer called Johnny Rebel.
Yeah. So he went through several different incarnations, and then one day I played a country bar, and I wanted to my band Texas the Band. I just named this band Texas the Band to make it sound country, and I wanted to do something different, and so I was auditioning to be the house band at a country bar in Texas, in Dallas, and I put a little cowboy hat on him and turned him into a country singer. His name was Walter Airedale, and then I just put a T in there.
Sounded country. Walter T. Airedale.
That's right. That sounds country, right? Your hat's a little off.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah. Have you been playing with your hair during this, Walter? Because nobody's getting a haircut. Maybe that's what's going. Wow.
I have no hair, honey.
You really did. Did you do one of these? Like, did you?
Oh no. No, I'm naturally gifted. Yeah, bald. What I mean.
Yeah, he's never had hair.
Right.
How are you? So other than drinking in the suitcase, Walter, what's your sort of take on some advice you might want to give people during this quarantine time from your perspective?
Well, just don't give up and just keep drinking. No, don't keep drinking. This is his character is, he's the guy, and he's the only character in my show. Don't touch me. Sorry. He's the only character in my show that on special occasions, if I'm doing a show in Vegas and it's, say, St. Patrick's Day, he comes out drunk. And so Yeah. So do your drunk one.
Okay, this I'm like, it's good to be here. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I hope that that's what I do.
Yeah. It's all an act, though. Just like Dean Martin, he didn't really drink.
Well, he did.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm kind of that. That's my character. I'm the cowboy singer like George Jones, and I like to drink and party.
but you don't really.
Not really. It's all just an act.
Right. So what's your advice to people?
Hey, don't give up, man. Just get out there and try to do something that'll better yourself while you're stuck at home.
Exactly. Work on your hobbies. Work on things that maybe you haven't. If you play guitar, then pick up your guitar and play some guitar and stuff. Yeah, you can really. That's what I'm finding is that I'm actually working on my skills as a ventriloquist. I'm learning new songs. I'm writing new routines. So I'm certainly not just sitting around.
I am. Yeah, but it's okay because I'm a puppet.
Right.
I'm allowed to sit around unless Terry's got his hand up my butt.
That's probably the only time that's ever allowed.
Yeah. You didn't have to say that.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say it. Terry did.
Do you have problems, Walter, filtering?
No, not at all. It all goes through Terry. I have absolutely no control of what I say. So I don't take no responsibility for nothing.
Good for you. Good for you.
As most of us like to pass the buck.
Exactly. Pass the buck.
I thought it was pretty good. You said that.
No, that was pretty good. You said that without moving your mouth. Pass the buck.
That's a hard thing to say without moving your lips.
I don't even want to try.
Most ventriloquists say, "Task the duck." But Terry says, "Pass the buck."
That's about 20 years of practice right there.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Walter, I just want to ask, how are the girls in your group doing? Are the girls okay? You've got some really beautiful women that Terry has collected around you guys.
Yeah, there's one actually. One of them's too young. She's a tween. That's Emma Taylor. She's young. But the other one, Vicky the Cougar, oh man, we got married again.
What? You and Vicky got married again?
Yeah.
What do you mean again?
Yeah, we've been married like 5 times. We keep going back to each other. We really don't have a lot of choice because we share a suitcase.
Exactly.
So you've been married to Vicky 5 times, but doesn't that sort of cramp on Vicky's kind of dating life?
Yeah, that's why it's 5 times. She keeps divorcing me so she can date again.
That's a good idea, actually,
Yeah. And since we're puppets, getting a divorce is real easy.
Yeah. Tell me
How
about
is it
it.
easy?
Well, we're puppets. We don't need no documentation. We just say, "That's it. I'm done. You go get in another suitcase, and we're done. That's it. It's a divorce."
Right.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you to divorce her repeatedly so that she can date again and then marry her.
Yep. Again, I don't have a lot of choice. If Terry puts her in the suitcase, we're married again.
That's kind of like what's happening with couples.
I'm glad it's not that easy for us humans. We get to, those of us who love our spouses, we work it out.
Yeah, try sharing a suitcase with her. You ain't gonna be so happy.
I bet I wouldn't. If I had to be in a suitcase with her, I probably wouldn't like that.
Do you know that, Walter, right now couples are having to quarantine together in the house, working together by themselves like they've never had to before? What advice would you give couples that are having to live, like you have been doing this in a suitcase with Vicky, which is admirable? What are you going to say to couples that are stuck together all the time and are not used to that?
I got one little advice for all you couples that are stuck together for months and months and months. Run!
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and
Walter.
Don't take that not seriously. I'm a dummy.
Right. Well, they can't run. Anyway, I'm going to put him up and let him. But yeah, those are my 3. And I'm going to be doing a new song this next week with Winston and Vicky. So be watching for that debut. That's going to be sometime early next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll release a new song with Winston and Vicky.
And we'll keep
So
them up so people can see them, because, you know, this is going to be tonight, a lot of people's Friday night, sit in the couch with your family and friends and watch Terry and his little puppets and how they're doing in Las Vegas. Terry, I just want to thank you so much for your time. I want to thank you for the compassionate heart that you and Angie both have, the servanthood, the servant leadership that you demonstrate. I want to thank you for always being so generous and kind to my family and friends. When they come to Las Vegas, you're always so sweet to greet them and take a little picture with them. And we're really looking forward to hearing more about what this, you know, contract's going to look like for you and your new era and where you're going to be in Vegas. You have to keep me in touch with that so we can keep updating people, because I think people are really looking forward to living again, however that's going to look in our new norm, you know, for sure. And yeah, I just thank you so much for your time today and for your sharing your heart.
well, thank you. And once we get all the information and we have an announcement, me and Angie, my wife Angie, will come on together, and we'll do another interview with you and talk about the new contract. That'll be fun.
Oh, that would be really good. And I would really like to kind of hear from Vicki then and see how she handled the quarantine with Walter.
Okay.
And see what advice she has for married people in quarantine.
You got it. I'll make sure.
Love you and Angie very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care, Terry.
Thanks,
Okay, bye.